Alrighty, welcome back to the channel, loves. My name is Catalina, and this is the Fox's Hideaway. And get your pens and paper out because we are going to do a little writing activity together today. Let's get started. Okay, so we are obviously inching our way closer to Virgo season. Woohoo! That is my birthday season on the 18th. And although I love the beautiful energy of Leo, Virgo just has a energy of kind of organization and just kind of motivation and just really kind of going at it and getting things done. And I think that's the way that you're going to reach your goals, is you have to, do action. And so I did kind of a journal entry for myself, but wanted to share it with you too in case you wanted to do it. And it's just a good little check-in to see where you're at and where you're wanting to kind of be headed. So I'm going to share the questions with you as well as my answers. And you can do the same if you want. So the first question is, what are two goals I'm wanting, like a monthly goal as well as a goal that I want to achieve by the end of the year? So give yourself a couple minutes, pause the video here, just reflect on that, a goal that you can focus on for the month and a bigger goal that you want to accomplish by the end of the year. Let's go. Okay, so I picked two different goals. One is drinking more water, and the second one is getting my book published by the end of the year, and hopefully successfully publishing it by the end of the year. Have to be a little bit more specific, but those are the two that I picked. One, the water. I am terrible at drinking water, but the more, and I mean, I've known for a long time, I have plenty of people telling me that it's really bad not to be fully hydrated, and it's the truth. Your body cannot function to its optimal intelligence if you deprive it of its basic need of water. And so I'm trying to get better about that. I'm starting to try to implement some more goals as to how I can accomplish that, because I think my body is just really suffering from not being on top of that. And then, of course, I've been talking about it. I've talked about it in a couple of videos that I am getting ready to publish a book. As much as I wouldn't mind doing it traditionally, I just don't think that's going to happen. And especially in today's age, there are so many avenues to be able to self-publish. And just the way that traditional publishing works, it's very, 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 very hard to succeed that route. You have to have an agent, you have to, you're still going to get rejected 5 billion times. And it's not even the publisher's fault. They get so many submissions on a yearly basis. There's no way they can get through all of them. It's impossible. And so yours ends up getting set by the wayside or in the trash even, probably most likely, most of the time. And a lot of the times you don't even hear anything from them, yay or nay. So traditional publishing is the route I'm going to go. I'm just trying to be incredibly diligent on the front side to make sure that I do everything right, because I mean, when you're about ready to put something out there, that's the first impression that you're giving to the world as far as what your writing is going to be like, and I just want to make sure it's done right. So those are my two goals. The next question is, what is one thing for each that you're doing now to help accomplish these goals? So take a moment, pause the video, and write what you are doing right now to implement the two goals that you picked. Okay, so for my water goal, and it sounds so silly, but truly, no matter what goal you have, better exercise, better health, better relationships, whatever it is you're trying to work on, you got to do the small things first. If you just jump to really big steps, they may feel a little unattainable. So for drinking more water, I am literally buying huge jugs of distilled water so that I have absolutely no excuse to not drink. And I have this big, tall water bottle, and I'm trying to drink 3 of them in a day, space them out like morning, afternoon, and night to make sure I'm getting plenty of water. I also, am mentally just kind of trying to schedule it out. I have a really bad habit of not drinking hardly anything in the mornings because that's when I do massage, and I do not want to have to get up and pee in the middle of my massages. I don't think my clients would appreciate that all that much. So then I just kind of forget to drink throughout the day in general, and it's all downhill from there. So just kind of mentally being more aware, and half the time that's the battle, is coming into awareness. And then I also, as a whole, am just trying to get better with an exercise regimen, trying to get stronger, especially in my arms and in kind of my butt, because I get so much low back pain for numerous reasons, but it spreads into my hips and my low back, and I just want my arms to be stronger in general. So we're trying to go to the gym more too, and so I've actively gotten a card that allows me to use the free gym at my place of work. So, I mean, come on. They've made it as easy as it can be for me, and I literally live 3 minutes down the street. I have no excuse whatsoever. So we are doing that as well. And then as far as my book stuff goes, I actually have the full series written. It's a series of 3, and I'm trying to go back and edit 2 and 3. And so I want to have 2 like edited and done and ready to be put out there shortly after I release the first one, because I think that's going to be the best route to go, is that if they like the first one, they can instantly turn around and get the second one. It needs to be pretty much ready to be available so that we just get a good flow started. So yeah, trying to at least edit 3 chapters a day to get that done and ready to go. Yeah. Alright, our next question. What is one thing for each that you could be doing a bit better? So what are some things that maybe you're just falling a little bit short on? It's okay, everyone does it. I have about 1,000,001 shortcomings, probably even more than that. But what are some things that you actively notice that you're doing that you would like to do a little bit better? Take a moment now. Okay, so for me, for my book, it's researching the small details. And honestly, it's because it just feels a little overwhelming. Figuring out, when you self-publish, it's all in your hands, which can be really great because you get to see the profit from it if it succeeds. But you also don't necessarily have all the guidance of other people kind of taking on some of the challenges and the nitty-gritty details to help make sure it's successful. So like the small details, like researching the best way to self-publish, really making sure that the formatting is good and all that kind of stuff. Like I'm the creative side. I like to write. I like to build characters and worlds. My strong point is not the business aspect, which I'm not ashamed to say, but I feel like I need to learn a little bit more about that so that we at least have a chance of being successful. So I'm also going to try and see if I can reach out to some other self-published authors who have already been here, done this, and maybe I can learn from some of the things that they did, so that maybe I have a bit more of a smoother ride. So I'm hoping to be able to do that. It'd also be really awesome to get some test readers as well, but mine is kind of for young adults. I think it'd be enjoyable for middle school and up, honestly. I'm still consider myself a young adult even though I'm 28 years old, so yeah, I think it's open to a lot of different kinds of people. So that would be awesome, getting a couple test readers, but we'll see. And then just also figuring out the best ways to advertise. I have an advertising background, which I'm really thankful for. I've done all my own covers and everything because I have the ability to do so. But it's just figuring out, you know, how to get it up on Barnes & Noble, how to get it on Amazon and Kindle. And also, as much as I don't necessarily want to, because I'm just not like a super fan of social media. Like, I love YouTube because I feel like there's so many avenues to learn from different people. I love Instagram because I love seeing other people's gorgeous pictures and everything, and it's honestly just a dumping ground for my own experiences. I don't like Facebook, absolutely hate Facebook. In fact, I recently just deleted Facebook, and I really have never wanted to get on the TikTok train. But everyone I've talked to says that TikTok is really a great avenue for advertising yourself and your business or whatever it is you're trying to sell. So we might have to get on the TikTok train because that might be the best way to reach my audience. So we'll see. What about you guys? What are your goals that you're trying to get better at achieving? And then, yeah, I didn't even do the other one. Oh, yeah. So as far as the other goals of doing better on like the gym and just overall care for myself, is just sticking with it. I get on these ebbs and flows where I will do really good for a while, and all of a sudden we will just jump off the cart, let it roll off the edge of the cliff down to its death below. And then it seems like forever to get back on track. And it's not even like there's a good reason for getting off track. It's just like, oh, well, I feel like eating ice cream all day long today, and that's what ends up happening. And then I wonder why I have stomach problems, you know? So just sticking to it, like finding that motivating factor and sticking to it. And which leads me to my next question, or my next thought, is who is someone you admire right now? What traits do you like about them, and how can you implement those same traits into your own life? Go ahead and give yourself a minute to think and reflect and write. Okay, so a couple people. One is my sister. She has literally just gone through firefighting training, and she's an EMT, and she is so fit, and envy is the wrong and right word, because I am envious of how just strong she is. She is just a powerhouse, and she's this tiny little thing. Like, you would never expect when you see her, and if you watched our Texas video, you saw her in the video. I mean, you wouldn't necessarily look at her and be like, oh my god, she's a firefighter, but she is, and she's so strong, and she's just so determined, and I love that about her so much. She can irritate the absolute shit out of me, but I love her to death, and she is an inspiration when it comes to that. And my other sister is an inspiration as well. She's always so authentic to herself that it's just something that inspires me, you know? Like, even all growing up, I feel like my twin and I, the one you saw in the video, we were very shy, we were very just do what you're told kind of thing. And as we've gotten older, my younger sister, she's only 5 years younger, but I'd call her my younger sister, always have, probably always will. But she was always just this spark fire of, I'm going to be me no matter what, and I don't give two shits if people like it or not. I'm gonna be me. And I have definitely drawn inspiration from her too. Now, someone who obviously is like way off my radar as far as ever meeting or ever having any kind of personal relationship with, I recently just got back from Matt Rife. And the reason I pick him, which some people are going to be eye-rolling right now, but no, I do find him inspirational because he's had stuff that he's gone through in his life, some rather hard stuff that he's had to go through, and he's risen above it all, And he has a really great attitude towards everything. I mean, humor is his medicine, and he shares it with the world, and he keeps people laughing, which I admire greatly. I feel like if you're that personality that you walk into the room and people want to interact with you because you have just a light about you that draws them in and you can make people feel good, I think that is amazing. And so I love how he has humor. He can make a joke about literally anything. And obviously, yes, there are times and places to do and not to do that, but I mean, he does that for a living. So, but yeah, just embracing being able to make people feel comfortable and to just be able to drop the hundreds of pounds of just whatever they're holding, whatever burdens they're holding, and just allow them to be able to let go of that for a little bit. That's what I greatly admire. And also, he's my age. So, you know, yes, there are tons of people that are way older and wiser than me, and they've made it, you know. But then you see people like my age, and comparison is always the worst enemy. So I'm not saying like compare yourself to everybody, but it's good goals to have. You know, what keeps you motivated? He's only 28 and he's now famous, you know. Like, and then I've got Patrick Mahomes too, 28-year-old, and he's a fucking Chiefs player, you know? Like, people my age who are achieving success, and what are they doing to get it? Because I'd like a little slice of it too, to be honest. And who doesn't? Who doesn't want to be kind of admired for their hard work and what they're talented at? And so, just learning from him of he's a really hard worker. He just has a great personality and good motivation. Just a go-getter, and that's kind of what you have to do if you want, you know, to achieve your goals. You have to work for them. They're not just gonna come, you know, by you on a gold platter and everything's gonna be sunshine and rainbows. It unfortunately does not work like that, as much as I wish it did. But he also just encourages people to follow their own dreams. He just released his special on called Lucid, and it's all about dreams. And it's just, yeah, you need people who motivate you in life. You've got to look at who you're surrounding yourself with too. If you're surrounding yourself with successful, happy people, odds are you're going to be happy and successful too. If you're constantly surrounding yourself with the biggest Debbie Downer and the biggest like boo-hoo pity party person, then yeah, you're gonna fall right into that pit hole with them. And I have personal experience with that, and I can tell you it's the worst ever. People like that can suck the light out of you faster than you even will know what hit you. So don't do that. But who inspires you? Like, who are you kind of inspired by right now? All right, next question. Where are you experiencing pain in your life? What could that pain be indicating about what may need to change within your life? I'll give you a minute. Okay, so pain is the biggest indicator that we're doing something wrong, right? Like, when you're feeling pain, it usually stems from something spiritual, and then it can turn mental, and then it turns physical. So when you start feeling physical pain, odds are you've been dealing with something for a long time and it has not been being addressed, and so it's so desperate to get your attention, it's manifested into our physical human body. And so that usually means that there's an area of life that is causing you a lot of problems, whether it be a job, a relationship, you know, how you're taking care of your own health, and are you eating right? Are you getting enough sleep? Like, critical things that we just tend to kind of brush off. We're like, oh, well, one day we'll sleep better. No, today you need to sleep better, you know, like. And a lot of times we're just like, well, we've tried everything and nothing really works. Well, it's usually because we're not getting to the root of the problem. So in my own life, I still get a lot of physical random pain. Now, granted, I have fibromyalgia now, so pain is my daily friend on all the time. Like, there's really not a day that goes by that something isn't kind of just there, but we've gotten really good at ignoring it. And my pain most of the time is stemming from just my brain being overactive and sending pain signals. So it's not always necessarily something, but it also tells me though that I need to be more aware of others' emotions around me and how I'm feeling my own emotions, because when things start acting up, it means something's not in check. Something's not in balance. I'm either holding on to something that I shouldn't be holding on to. I'm letting something affect me that doesn't need to affect me. Or I'm just straight up not taking care of my body right. And I'm guilty of that. Like I am. Like I said earlier, ebbs and flows. Sometimes we're doing really good, sometimes not so much. And that's just human. And a lot of you, I bet, can relate to that. So mostly kind of in my low back and hip area right now, which so I love how much like spirituality can come into all of this, because I've been listening, and I'm going to give a podcast that I think would be wonderful for anyone to listen to here at the end. But like the connection, the absolute connection of how we work spiritually, mind, body, soul, like physically, it all works together. And when one thing's off, it just trickles down. And I can't say that enough because it's so true. So when I looked up, you know, I have so many medical intuition books, like Chinese medicine, anything that deals with like the chakras or deals with the bodies as far as looking at the organs and what they're associated with and what pain they can cause and what emotion it's tied to. And it all goes hand in hand. So with low back pain and hip pain, it's all in regards to like the sacral chakra, which is your second one. And it's pretty much about past trauma that you've gone through or past events that you're holding on to. Just like anger and aggression, pent-up anger that you're not letting go of. And oh gosh, what were the other ones? Like grudges that you might be keeping. Yeah, so it's just interesting because it's like, yeah, I already know that about myself, that I'm still holding on to past things and just not officially letting them go, which I need to. I've gotten a lot better. We've gotten a lot better. Like, we're finally getting to that point where we're just like, we're moving on. Like, what happened, happened. Can't go back and change it. Can't stay mad forever. It's only hurting myself. So, we are finally letting go. But, can any of you relate? Do you have pain somewhere and you're just like, this pain will not go away? Start looking at things happening in your life, people in your life. You might be really, really surprised that your pain started around when you started having stressors regarding a certain family member or a friend, or, you know, some traumatic event happened and you're still just holding trauma from it. You would be shocked how many times that's the case. Yeah, so lower back pain is feelings of like abandonment, an overload of responsibilities. So I know tons of people who have low back pain, and you can just see when they walk in that they're just stressed to the max. Like there's no more room for one more thing to go wrong, because otherwise they're just going to break. And we hold it in our low backs, which is a very crazily common place to find people who have pain. It also relates to betrayals and breakups and past traumas. Yeah, and it can also, hip pain deals with like anxiety and depression, which I don't think I've met anyone nowadays that doesn't have some level of anxiety. Like that's just a major world problem right now amongst humans. It's just anxiety. Everyone has it to some level or extent, and you shouldn't feel like ashamed of it, you know, because it's a very real thing and it can cause a lot of real problems. So yeah, do whatever you need to do to keep yourself healthy. Now, healthy coping mechanisms, let me draw the line there, healthy coping mechanisms. Because if you fall into unhealthy ones, it's just going to be that much harder to recover from. Alright, next question. What is holding you back from your goals? What are some things that, if you look deep down inside, what's stopping you from going after your dreams? You all have them. I know you do. What is preventing you from reaching them? Okay, so for me, I'm not gonna lie, my first book has been ready to be put out there for at least probably a month now. And part of me just has this fear of rejection. And I think that's pretty normal. Like, you work on something for so many years. I mean, I've been writing this stupid thing since high school. And it's never been quite ready up until this point. And I'm glad I haven't put it out there until now, because there's no way it would have even had a chance. Now I feel like it could, but there's always that fear of that it's not going to be successful, it's not going to work, people are going to hate it, blah 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 blah. But you'll never know if you don't try. So that's what I keep telling myself. And I'm not going to sit here and say I'm the best writer on the planet. Heck no, not even close. Do I hopefully hope, without sounding full of myself, that I was given some kind of writing talent, at least a little bit? Yeah, I hope so. I think so, but we're about to find out. So, fear. Yeah, fear of rejection, fear of failure. I think that's what holds a lot of people back. So I'm sure some of you can relate, but pushing past that fear and honestly having the mindset that there's enough success, there's enough talent, there's enough money to go around for everybody. And so that's why I'm like, why can't it be me? Why can't it be me? There's no reason it can't be, so we're going after it. And I hope everyone else with their goals feels the same way. Have confidence that you can do it. Like, have confidence. And I know confidence is easier said than done, but there is something about confidence that people love. Now, don't be conceited, don't be egotistical, there's a huge difference, but you can have confidence, and it's amazing what things come your way when you're just like sure of yourself. So there's that. And then with the health stuff, for a really long time, it was just like I was always waiting for that other shoe to drop, as far as something else to go wrong. You know, when you have chronic health issues, there are dark times. And not saying that to, you know, put down the mood, but it's true, and people need to be honest about that. There are times when you're really, really low, and you're just like, you're just waiting for something else to be the icing on the cake, you know? And so now I'm finally getting back to getting my spark back and finding that flame and that passion and love and creativity and joy for life that I had lost for so many years. And the funny thing is, my family members around me saw it happening, and I just continued to let it happen. Part of me wasn't aware for a while, and then when I finally became aware, it was just like you didn't know how to dig myself out, until finally one day I was like, enough is a fucking enough. Like, this isn't how we're supposed to live, you know? We're supposed to have these awesome, amazing, creative, passionate experiences in the world that we live in, and so many people today don't. They're just struggling so bad, and it's like, we've got to find that spark again. We have to relight the fire and get the motivation and chase our dreams, because otherwise this will be just a life that's mediocre and boring and disappointing. And who wants that? Who wants that? Nobody. So I've had to really teach myself that just because something good happens does not mean that something bad is gonna follow. And I feel like in certain groups, that's always kind of the thing. Like, you're almost meant to feel ashamed of like success and accomplishments, and I just feel like that's so wrong. Like, be proud of yourself for what you accomplish. You know, chase after what you want. I don't think it's selfish at all to have big dreams and big aspirations, and I don't think it's selfish to want to have some money. You know, I hate to say it, I wish it wasn't like that, but money makes the world go round in our society. So yeah, having it means that you're probably going to have a bit more of a comfortable lifestyle. So I don't think it's selfish, me personally. I don't think it's selfish to just want a little bit, or even want a lot, to be just comfortable and successful and to be able to live the life that you want to live. Be humble about it. Like, there are tons of people out there that I see who have really made it big and successful, and they are so humble still. And those are the people I can get behind, because it's like they remember who they are, and they remember how hard they've had to work to get to that point. And they don't act like they're above everybody else, you know? That's the kind of success that I will always jump on the bandwagon for. Sorry, I feel like I'm rambling nonstop, but it's just, I've felt the need to kind of talk about this stuff and goals and aspirations, and just dropping the mold of somehow feeling guilty for wanting more, you know? Like, I want to break that mold. I want to break that cycle. But yeah, as always, when you've let yourself get to a certain point for so long, it takes a while to get back. So please be patient with yourself if you decide to do this. If not, that's totally cool too. But realize everything takes time. You know, it took time to get to the spot you're at now. It's going to take time to kind of recover maybe some of the bad habits and just things that we naturally fall into, whether we realize it or not. And be patient with yourself. Success, and it doesn't happen overnight. It doesn't. And you're going to go through some bumps in the road, but just persevere, because something great is waiting for you. And I feel like it's just so important to motivate people to do what they're truly passionate about. You know, when we're living the life that is meant for us, like the limits are endless, you know, the joy is endless. And then you just get into that really good cycle of you're giving joy out, and then you're receiving it back, and you're giving back, and you're getting success back, and it's amazing. And you just see the world so much more like differently. And I'm finally coming back to that more, where I really am starting to see opportunities and seeing a light at the end of the tunnel versus this dark hole of nothingness that kind of plagued me for a long time. And yeah, I sometimes begrudge change. I don't always love it, and I certainly hate the unknown. I do not like not knowing. And that's a Virgo trait, honestly. Like, Virgos, we like to have a game plan, and we like to know what's happening next, and which is a lesson I've definitely been given the last little bit of, hey, things are gonna be a little bit in the dark here and there, and you're gonna have to learn patience and get through it. So pay attention to those lessons in your life, because although they hurt and they're not comfortable, they will get you to a better spot. They really will. And don't self-sabotage. Self-sabotage is the easiest way to obviously fail. So You know, don't give yourself reasons to fail. There's always going to be a reason not to do something. There is. Without the bad, there is no good. There's always going to be something that is going to set you back, and if you let it. And there's always going to be someone who's giving you their opinion of why you shouldn't do something, and you gotta learn to tune in and listen to yourself and what your passions are and what your dreams are, and don't let yourself or anyone else stop you from accomplishing those things. Unless it's murder, then maybe let's not, but you know what I mean. And then lastly, give yourself some kind of just small saying or daily mantra or something that you can remind yourself of on the daily. Like what is some motivating words? And I know that might sound so sappy and be like, oh, you're one of those people that have, you know, but even if it's just like something that inspires you, a quote that inspires you, maybe it's even a meme that inspires you, that just keeps you laughing and reminds you of joy in life. Like, what is something that you can just kind of remind yourself of on a daily basis? Maybe sometimes 12 times a day, depending on what kind of day you're having. But something that keeps you motivated and finding the good in life. Give you a quick minute. Okay, so for me, I say I can do anything and everything I desire, and I'll do it with greatness and passion. And another saying I love is just the simple one of mind over matter, because 100% I believe in that so much. Anymore, I question fear. I really try to question what I fear. Now, spiders, I will always fear spiders. I don't think there's any coming out of that, but as in regards to like if I have something, a challenge that I'm facing, and I'm like, okay, why can't I do it? Why do I think I can't? You know, find a different perspective, as Big Hero 6 likes to say. Sometimes you have to shake it up. Sometimes you have to look at things through a different viewfinder, and don't always stick to just one way of doing things, because otherwise you will get stuck. Find a different perspective, shake things up, tell yourself you can do it, because you can. You can. Will it be done absolutely flawlessly and perfectly? Maybe not the first time, but keep going, keep doing it, and face fear and be like, no, we're not going to let this stop us today, because we have the ability to do it. We can manifest anything that we want. So manifest your dreams. And I know this sounds just so sappy and so maybe ridiculous, but I just feel like it's stuff people don't hear enough. You know, our world is plagued with kind of all the things that could go wrong, and there's not always enough people telling you, you know what, this is gonna go right, this is gonna be really awesome, and it's gonna go great, and you're gonna achieve everything and more that you could possibly dream of. And then just remember also that if something doesn't work out, it's for a reason. It's because it's not for you. You're not on quite the right path. Sometimes rejection is awful, and it hurts because we thought we wanted something so bad, but then later on down the road we ended up finding out that, oh, it's because this was over here waiting for me, and if I had gotten that, I never would have experienced this, and this is 10 times better. So open mind, keep an open mind, keep, you know, finding things that motivate you, that inspire you. I'm not gonna lie, I am that creeper right now that has a picture of Matt Rife on my desktop, because I do find him just particularly motivating, and I'm not gonna lie, he's a little easy on the eyes as well. So, but I want to embrace some of that personality of making people laugh and being a joy to be around and to be a hard worker, you know? So yeah, I'm not ashamed to say that I have that going on right now. Just so that I can get a daily reminder of some kind of motivation. And honestly, I watch his stuff quite often just so I can get a good laugh as well. So, but whatever works for you, whatever works. A picture of someone that inspires you, a quote that keeps you going. You know, just what makes you want to be creative and passionate. So the last thing I want to mention to wrap this up is I've recently been watching, I watch a lot of podcasts all the time about spirituality and just witchcraft and different topics and stuff like that. And I feel like, although my passion, I love witchcraft, love doing witchcraft, but I also have a deep interest on like the medical and spiritual side of things. And so some of my videos probably will also invoke some of that, as well as astrology, and just because it all interweaves together really nicely. But the podcast I watched today was by Know Thyself podcast. Amazing podcast. So good. Just the questions are very thought-provoking and really in-depth, and really just gets you thinking about who we are as people, and to know thyself. What are we here for? What's our purpose? All that good stuff. And the one that I watched was Unlock the Full Potential of Your Mind, Body, and Soul with Paul Checkin. Highly recommend. It is 3 hours long, so maybe just put it on in the background while you're doing something, because it's hefty and it's deep, but it's really good, and it just really gave me some food for thought today. And I love the Know Thyself podcast. Highly recommend subscribing to them. But yeah, that is my video today. Hopefully you guys are all feeling inspired, feeling like you're ready to go get this next month. I hope Virgo season brings a lot of success and happiness to everyone. As always, stay happy, stay healthy, be curious, always speak your truth, and I'll see you next time for another video. Bye.